What's up, everyone? Welcome to the second installment of the mental training series with Pepe. As soon as I see that Pepe is here, I'll put him in. So I hope you're getting on well with it. It should be day 3 today for you guys. What Pepe is going to talk about today is goal setting and the importance of it. So let's have a look. Let's see if Pepe's got dodgy internet today. There you are, Pepe.
There, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. I like your t-shirt.
It's very cool. A friend of mine gave it to me.
I need to get you one as well.
It's all right, it's mine now. I stole it off him.
Good job.
Pepe, tell us what we're talking about today.
So today we're talking about goal setting. So this is a topic that I would say is used a lot, is referenced a lot, but really not a lot of players know how to properly do it. And I want to show you a simple system so that you guys can do it and really focus on those things that will really help you achieve your goals. So, and it would be nice to, I'm not sure what you think, David, but just to make it maybe either interactive or maybe there's some players that you know that are already participating, they're in here, that we could use their examples or what they're working on so we can apply this and it's not just all over the place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so what we'll have to do, because I think you can only have 2 people on live, right?
Yeah, but maybe there's someone that you know that's there.
Well, why don't we do this? Let's have someone put their goals in the comments.
Yeah.
And then we can pick them apart.
Okay, perfect.
So, guys, if you're brave enough to be vulnerable, like we spoke about the other day, write your goals in the comment box, and Pepe will pick one.
I'll pick one. Yes. This is going to be interesting because I really think that this time that we're spending and working together is a key moment. I just saw one because they go too fast. Sorry, guys. To play college soccer and become the best player and person I can be. Okay. Right. Kaylin. Is that how you would pronounce that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's mine is to have more confidence. Okay. So I'm just going to write them down and we can do this. Play college soccer best I can be and confidence. Is there another one? My goal is to have a better mental game and have control over my emotions. Okay, mental game and emotions. So there's a clear pattern here, if you notice, David. There's something very interesting. So I'm just going to go, and thanks guys for sharing. This is very helpful. We'd love to get stronger as a player. Okay, stronger. So all the things that we are referencing to are things that are better of what we currently have, which is good. That's good. That's the whole start on my brand new team in college soccer. Okay, yum, the smoothie.
Pepe, I'm interested in how you've had a haircut because we can't have haircuts in LA.
No. I have my special stylist.
So I can't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Okay, guys. So let's get started. Can you see? Let me just move my mic. Move this because I want to make sure. So these are some that I wrote. I know it's the other way around, but I'm going to just read them so you can.
Yeah, guys. On the YouTube, we'll flip it, but
perfect,
Instagram doesn't let us not mirror this. So this isn't an us issue. This is an Instagram issue.
Yeah. But that's why I think we should do one day, and I'm not sure what you guys think, a Zoom call.
Yeah.
That way we can do it much more interactive. So I'm reading another one. My son is on the field now. Can I tell you what's his goals? Yes, please tell me what Samantha, please tell me his goals. Yes, 100% to have more confidence. All right, faster speed. All right, so all of these things, play college soccer, best that I can be, confidence, mental game, stronger. And in a way, what we're saying is that, imagine that there's this line, hopefully you can see it, and this is where you're at. And there are 3 versions of you in the future. There's an A version, which is improved, a B version, which basically stays the same. I'm just going to put this here so you can see it. There's a C version down here. So these 3 versions, imagine that in the future they exist. They're out there. There's an improved one, there's one that stays the same, and there's one that's actually gone worse, right? So which one would you prefer? David, which one do you think you would prefer?
The future one, right?
Yes.
The better one.
The better one. So all of us, these things that we're referencing to are here. So in our way, we say, yes, I want to go from here to here. But all of these have one common thing as well, that they're not very clear. They're all either I get it or I don't get it. And that's not good for our mind. I understand why we do it, but for instance, to be confident, how do you work on that, and how do you, I just forgot the word,
It's such a generic term, isn't it?
How do you make sure you got there?
Yeah.
It's not tangible, so it's very hard. So it depends on your emotions. It depends on how you're feeling that day. Maybe you're just having a bad day and suddenly you say, no, you know what, I'm not confident, this is it, I can't play anymore. So the challenge with these things, play college soccer. I mean, how many college soccer programs are there in the US? Depending if you're a guy or girl, you know, at least I would say 200 plus, right? So it's a lot. It really is a lot. Exactly, and it all depends if it's NCAA, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, junior college. So there are all of these different options. So although I understand where you're going, we have to make it a bit more clear. It has to be a bit clear. Yes? Does that make sense? Guys, does that make sense? All right, so what's the next step? So the first thing that we need to know is, this is important. I'm just going to take this out. But the first thing that we need to know is, where do I stand now, today? So a lot of people immediately say, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to play college. I want to be more confident. I want to score more goals. I want to be faster. I want to be stronger. So we get all hyped, but we forget of where we're at right now. So it's important that we know, where do we stand. So I'm going to do this little pyramid for you guys. And these are different levels of soccer in the world. Imagine that this is World Cup level, and this is the lowest of the amateur, right? So I always work with players and say, you have to recognize where you're at right now. Yeah, so maybe it's amateur, maybe it's a college, or what would you call it? A next level that could be, David? Travel team?
Yeah, like it would be club.
And
then I guess what is up from club is like ECNL or Girls Academy or ECNL boys. Yeah. And then from there it's
ODP,
college.
Maybe,
ODP probably the same as ECNL.
Yeah.
And then in the US it'd be youth national team after that. And then college, then pro, then international, right?
Yeah, we could do semi-pro, pro. Mm-hmm. Then you could do, there are all sorts of divisions. So we could go on and on. So it's important that you know where you're at right now. So for the person that asked, well, it's college. That sounds great. But currently, where are you at right now? And so you might say, well, I'm in this team at this level. Okay, are you a starter or aren't you a starter? Oh, well, I'm not a starter. Okay, so the next step is to get you to become a starter in that team. That's the next goal that you should be focusing on. So basically what we're doing is from one step to the next one. And it's nice to have all of this and keep it in mind. But in order to achieve this and to make sure that, or do everything that we can so that the possibilities are higher, is that we can keep climbing the ladder, especially in soccer. It's very rare, and sometimes in our heads and in our minds, it's normal. And this used to happen to me. I was playing maybe, either college or semi-pro. I was here. Well, actually, I started pro when I was young. But anyways, in my mind, I was like, yeah, one day somebody will pick me and they'll notice and I'll go to the national team and then I'll play in Europe and then I'll play for Manchester United and blah, blah, blah. So my head was taking me somewhere else. I know you don't like that team. But anyways, it's very easy to fall into that trap. And that's why it's important to recognize where do we stand right now. And then from there, we build a bridge to get to the other side. But the other side has to be the next step and not get caught on thinking of this all the time. Because if you improve and you're getting better, your chances of achieving this go up. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, guys, does it make sense? Seeing all the comments. So it's the same thing with confidence. Let's say confidence gets stronger. So we spoke about this last time, but let's say stronger or confidence. Once you can actually see and measure stronger, confidence a bit more challenging. But usually we think of either I have it or I don't have it.
Yeah.
And as last time I explained to you guys, just imagine of a battery, and maybe it's not 100%, but you already have some confidence, you already have some strength. So you have to recognize where you're at today, and now, okay, what's the next thing? So maybe you could say, well, I could say that 25% of my games I'm confident, or depending on the situation. Right, so our goal is to take you to 30%, just to give you an example. Or in terms of strength, there are all sorts of exercises, right, David? And you know this, that we could use to measure strength. Either it's the number of reps that you're doing or the weight that you're carrying. That's a simple way that you can assess if you're getting stronger or not, right? So that's something that we can measure. So that goes to the next point. It's important that we can find something that we can measure, something that's measurable and tangible, so we can know if we are getting closer or not. If not, it's very challenging for us, and that's where we can get caught up in our minds and thinking that we're never there, that we're missing something, but we're not taking into account. This is an example that I use with lots of players. Imagine there's a line, and yes, you're making progress, or we could make it the other way around. You're making progress. This is your better version, and you're making progress. There you are. And here you're at. But if your mind is thinking and measuring what you have to go, instead of looking back and saying, hey, look at everything that I've done, it will always be thinking that it's missing something. And you will feel empty, and you will see that on the field, because your confidence will be low, your focus will be low, and most importantly, your well-being will be low as well. So mental toughness is of recognizing where you're at, yes, where you're heading, bringing it closer to you so it's achievable. That doesn't mean that you won't get here, but you also can look back and say, look, this is all that I've done. I've done all of this. I've learned all of this. And even if you made mistakes, even if things didn't go as that you want them to go, that is a lesson in itself. That is a lesson in itself, and you should keep that and take it with you. Does that make sense, David?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's almost like mini targets, right?
Exactly. So
rather than just saying like, I want to play for Arsenal. Okay.
Yeah, great.
Well, I also want to win the lottery.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. So when we're speaking about mental toughness, as we said last time, mental toughness is not about being perfect, but it's about making sure that I am making progress. And that's why I tell all my players, focus on becoming 1% better every single day. Just 1%, 1%, 1%. And you might think, well, 1% is nothing, but 1% is the difference many times between the ball hitting the post and going in. It's just that 1%. That 1% between you stopping the ball or the ball going in. So 1% is the whole difference in the end. 1% is the difference between 1,000 players and they pick you or they pick someone else.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that every single day you're just working on that 1% and you're making a bit of progress, and then celebrating that progress. So that will keep our mind focused on what we're doing. Yes, thinking about the goal, but then it goes to the next part. Focusing on what we can control. So this is what I told you guys about focusing and dividing goals in two. So there are outcome goals and there are performance goals. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Just bring it closer.
Stop throwing things around, Pepe.
I'm sorry, guys. I just get very excited about this. So there are two outcome goals and performance goals. Do you know what's the difference, guys? And anyone have an idea? Come on. What do you think, David? Outcome goals and performance goals. We'll put you on the spot.
How you want to perform and what's the outcome you want it to be, right?
In a way, yes. I'll give you a hint. Outcome goals are the ones that there's no control. And performance goals are the ones that we do control. So I'll give you an example. Outcome goal, score 10 goals. Yes? We don't control that. If we did control it, we would always get it. Performance goals are the things that I can control that will influence these. So you give me an example of what would be a performance goal. You're the expert in this.
With me, what I like to tell players is, with performance would be like, I want to connect, 90% of my passes.
Okay. All right. So 90% of our passes. All right. Now, the challenge with this one is that in a way we could say that we do control, but we depend on others.
Yeah.
It's a bit challenging one because I could give a good pass, but I forget that my opponent also can be very competitive and might stop more of the balls that I wanted to pass to my teammate. So what I suggest is that this goes into what your daily practice. So let's say that your goal is to outcome goal is to score 10 goals in the season. Now your performance goals is what you can do today that will influence that. So maybe it's a specific finishing exercise. Maybe it's a certain number of crosses that you make sure that you don't leave until you finish them. So those are specific things that you do control. It's your diet, it's your sleep, it's your speed exercises, it's your skill exercise, all of these things that you can measure and you can control. And obviously, at the end of the day, you have this list that you say, this is what I'm going to do. But all of them, you have to control them.
So then, a good example for that, like the performance goals, like a couple of seasons ago, Ray Daly wanted to work on a left foot.
Yes.
So every day we went out in the off season and did 75 to 100 shots. And I'm not going to lie, some days it got a little bit tedious because we're doing the same shot. Yes. Right? We're doing the same movements. First game of the season that year, and this is not a lie, I've put the footage on Instagram and YouTube on it. She gets the ball against Chicago, and it is, Pepe, it was a carbon copy. It was almost scary. Yes. She goes into the box, she fakes, she cuts back, and she curled it into the top left-hand corner.
Yes.
And when I say a carbon copy, like scarily eerie, it was
Yes.
exactly the same. And she did that goal twice that season.
Yes.
So that's the
Exactly.
performance and the outcome. Yeah.
Exactly. So these are the ones that we want our players to focus on, because these are the things that they can control and we can measure as well. So what I have my players do, and just let me know if you can't see, I'm just going to move this a bit more, is that we have boxes. And at the end of the day, you have yay or nay, right? So just tell me a quick exercise, the one that you were saying. Finish.
Yeah, you're right. Separation, touch, cut inside, finish.
Okay. I'm just going to put finish.
So put left foot finish.
Left foot, finish, 10, score 10. So at the end of the day, you say, did I do it or not? That depends on you. So players sometimes come and, guys, I love you and everything, and it's great to have all these goals. But sometimes I ask them, well, why didn't you do it? Well, the thing is that, this happened and I just wasn't feeling right. So these boxes, you know why they're this size? Because there's no space for excuses. Either you do it or you don't do it. Exactly. Zero excuses. But because that's something that you can't control. So most players don't achieve their goals, not because they're not good enough. It's because they stop doing this. They stop doing what they said they were going to do. And I can't promise you that this will take you to play for Arsenal or anything, because that I would be lying there. But what I can assure you is that we will help you, take you to that next step. And then from there, take you to the next step. It works. It works. And the next step can be, as I said, you're not playing, you're on the bench. Okay, maybe you're starting. Maybe you're playing more minutes. Maybe you're going to the next level. And then from there, keep working at it. So this is something that's very important that I work with players, and it's important, and we can apply it to so many different things. Even you guys also are studying. You're going to school. You have all of these other assignments, which I know takes time. So it's the same thing. I mean, pass a test, pass an exam. I mean, it doesn't depend on you. But if you know that you did sit down for 45 minutes and read the chapter that you said that you were going to read and do the summary, and then just ask yourself a couple of questions, say, yes, I did it, that is going to increase your chances of getting a better score.
It's 100%, right? Like, I always tell players, like, when I'm working with like younger players, my goal is that when they hit 18 and, they've decided on a college and whatever, they can look in the mirror, and if they've achieved what they've wanted to and they're going to the school that they want to, they look in the mirror and I did that.
Yes.
I did that.
Yes.
People helped me, people guided me, but I went out and did the work. The days that you were talking about, the days that you don't want to do it, but they went out and did it anyway. And it might be terrible practice, but they still went out and did it.
Yes.
And the same thing on the other side. They can look in the mirror, and if they're going to a school that they're okay with, that's your fault as well.
Yes.
You look in the mirror and you say, like, I did this. I'm not going to this. It doesn't matter if it's a D1 school. It matters. I'm not going to the school that I wanted to go to because, you know what, I didn't put the effort in.
Yes.
And, it's about accepting responsibility for that. And I feel like in society right now, that is missing. Like, we live in a blame culture where it's like, well, the coach didn't play me enough, so the college coaches couldn't see me.
Yes.
Okay, so did you do anything about that?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And it's always like put the blame onto someone else instead of taking responsibility.
Exactly. And what this does, and what you were just talking about, those things build confidence. So confidence is standing on the base of hard work and doing the things that you said you were going to do.
Mate, you're preaching right now. Like, I did an interview before the World Cup.
Yes.
And it was about Alex, because like around that time of year, like everybody wants to talk about Alex, right?
Yes.
And everyone's like, oh, like, what have you been doing, like, leading up to the World Cup? What technical stuff? And I'm like, listen, you've got to understand, like, if I've got a month with Alex or any player beforehand, before a major tournament,
Yes.
that month of technical work doesn't matter. What matters to the player here, whether they know it or not, and they probably don't, is the mere fact that in their mind, they can go into that camp and they're like, I've done everything I can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So confidence is built, and it's on top of everything that you said that you were going to do. And that's how we start building confidence. Because if you start building confidence with only, let's say, visualizing yourself at your best or thinking that you can be better, those things help. But eventually, if your touches are not there, your confidence is going to go down. That's something normal. So the key thing here as well, and this has been studied a lot, is that there are 3 circles, and I'm sure you guys have seen some sorts of examples, right? So this is a circle where you're in your comfort zone, right? So it's very tempting to stay here. Actually, it's normal to stay there, and there's a reason why, because obviously by staying in our comfort zone, that means that we're safe. And if you remember in the last live that we did, we speak about why most of our brain is just keeping us safe. It just wants us to stay alive. So that's the function. So if you have that tendency, just remember, it's okay. I mean, it's normal. But we then have to recognize and say, okay, how can I put myself from the comfort zone and take it over here? Now, our tendency would be, oh, I should be here. But the thing is that when we push ourselves too much and we stretch ourselves too much, we could break. So we want to make sure that we're just putting ourselves in that uncomfortable zone here, but without stretching too much, because if we're here, we could break. I'll give you an example. If suddenly they call one of, let's say even me, you and me as an example. When we were younger, we loved to play everything, and suddenly they call us up and say, hey, we have a trial for you with FC Barcelona or Arsenal. We would get there, and most of the time we'd be messing up because we haven't built that. And what it's going to do is going to take us from the uncomfortable to the very, very uncomfortable, and it could break us and it could affect our confidence. So that's not good. We don't seek that. The whole idea is that you can just push yourself every single day in that uncomfortable zone without breaking yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how you build confidence. So you have to be measuring that all the time. But there's this idea of pushing yourself, and that could be dangerous as well.
Well, that's a society thing right now as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I call it the grind mentality. It's like, you've got to grind all the time, grind. And I tell players, I'm like, stop listening to this crap. Like, stop
Exactly.
it. Like, it's dangerous.
Yes.
Like there's players like training 5-6 hours a day, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yes.
You're burning yourself out mentally.
Yes.
And again, it comes back to the targets, and having those targets that you can almost reach.
Yes.
And then one day you reach it, and then you get another one.
Exactly. Yes.
And it's concerning, like the way we are. Right? Like if you're not doing, 5 hours a day, then you're a loser. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Although I did do 2 hours of Peloton today, so that's probably wrong. My legs are killing me.
So, and that's a very good example. So when I'm working with a player and I tell him or her, okay, put together those outcome goals for your day, those performance goals for your day. Sometimes it's rest. And they're tempted. They're like, no, that can't be it. Yes, rest is an important component of growth. That's how we grow as well. And you know this, Dave, but I explain it to all the guys. I mean, when somebody says, oh, you should avoid stress, no, stress is also beneficial, because we need that stress. We need that pressure in order to grow. If it's too much, we break. So how does it work? I mean, if we have a stressful situation or we're training, that stress, But then afterwards, we have to rest. That's how a muscle grows. The muscle grows when we're resting. Guys, when you're resting, that's when you're really growing. Obviously, if you've put in the work. But it's part of the training, part of the training component. It's also a performance goal that counts and counts a lot.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So these, I mean, we could make it a bit more specific, maybe for someone that's out there. I'm not sure if you have a question, but this is just a simple way of doing a plan to successfully achieve your goals. And why is this? Because, as I said, your goal is to go from here to here. And make sure that you're bringing it close enough. I read in A Champion's Mind, that stress isn't a thing. Yes, it's debatable. Yeah, that's a good book. I actually think, look, is this the book? Champion's Mind. It's a really good book. Definitely a very good book. Champion's Mind.
Pepe, did you coordinate that?
No, I didn't.
That was way too staged.
But if you see, I just have a lot of books here and everywhere. So
that was way too staged.
It wasn't staged. Yeah. So stress. The idea of stress is debatable. We could call it pressure. We could use different words as well. But in the end, there is that situation where we're receiving something, where we're training. It's hard. It's intense. And then there's a period when we need to rest, and that's where we grow. It's the same with our mind. It's the same situation. So love both of his books. Yeah. See, we're in sync.
Pepe, when are you bringing the book out?
Not sure. I should do that soon. I would love to do it. Yeah. The only thing that I like to do more, and that's why I think it works more, is doing these things and making it interactive. So because it's very applicable, and sometimes a book can take you places. But then you're like, okay, how do I do it? And I'm more of the how guy.
And so you kind of tell me you put the book down when you finished, and you finished.
Exactly. Yes. And what happens with books is that many times it gives us. I think it's great. But it gives us the illusion or the sensation that we've achieved something already. And yes, you have, but now you have to take action as well. And that's the challenging part. And many books are not how books. They're just inspirational books. And that it's good, but it's challenging to put into practice.
You can do it. Ooh.
Yes, exactly. No, sometimes you can't do it. You know, it's part of life. Sometimes things can't go the way that you want.
I was never going to be good enough to play for Arsenal.
But But you are one of the best at what you do nowadays.
Yeah. And it's, everybody's got different calling, right? And this is another thing, when we take players on, I'm like, listen, I'm not saying that you're going to play pro, I'm not saying you're going to play D1, but what will happen if you follow what I tell you to do step by step, and you actually do it, you execute what we do, I will guide you to be the best player that you can be.
Exactly. Yes.
Now that you might top out at high school, you might top out at college, but you can, again, you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I did everything I could.
Exactly.
Right. And that's what I think people need to understand as well. I don't know.
Yeah. And something that I would suggest to you guys overall with all of this is that you can ask yourself a key question at the end of the day. And this key question is, am I better now than when I woke up? And if you are better, then you have that sense of satisfaction that you could go to sleep and say, and we've all had it when you're like, I did everything that I could. I really worked hard, and you can really rest. That's the feeling that we should all be seeking for, regardless of the trophies, regardless of the medals. Yes, those are important and it's great to have them. But that sensation of satisfaction, of knowing that you gave everything that you had and that you're a bit better at the end of the day than when you started, in my opinion, that is worth millions. It's worth millions, guys.
Yeah.
So, and that's a key question. Am I better now than when I woke up? Am I better now than when I started this Instagram live? And I can say I am better. I'm a bit better because this is challenging. I'm learning new things as well. I'm applying technology. Yes, that's great. Could it be better? Yes, but that's for another day, because the most important thing is that I'm better now than when I started. And I hope that you guys can think that way as well. And that's mental toughness.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. And that's how we're getting stronger. 1%, 1%. Unfortunately, we can't see it.
Yeah.
You know, it would be great if we could see a six-pack mental. That way we could, like, oh, gosh, you're mentally tough now.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Yes.
Um,
It'd be weird.
Pepe, we're on day 3 of the
Yes.
challenge. It's day 4. So we'll come back on Friday, right? Yeah.
Yes. Friday.
Guys, I hope you got a lot of value out of this. This is like brilliant. But again, it's one thing listening and another thing actually doing it.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
what you guys have got here is like a phenomenal resource that Pepe's put together. Don't not do it. Don't download it and leave it on your computer, because that's what 90% of people will do. And
Yes.
you know, the people on this live are usually the doers,
Yes. Exactly.
right? They're the doers,
Yes.
and they will download it and they'll do it and they'll print it out. And
Yes.
you know, no matter how, because I'm guessing a lot of these are like between 10 and 17, 18, but we'll
Yes.
see it. We'll see
Yeah.
it in a few years, especially the younger ones. Like if they can start doing this now, you imagine how good they can be.
Yes.
Like the
Yeah.
sky's the limit. It really
Exactly.
is. Guys, do you have any questions for Pepe? I love the way that there's like a little like a delay.
Yes.
And we're like, so do you have any questions? And we're like, no. And then like loads of questions come out. It's
Maybe,
funny.
I'm not sure what you can do. I mean, you know your audience much more, but maybe there's a way where if they have any questions, they can send them either to you, to me,
Yeah.
or something like that. So we could,
Guys, if you've got questions, because we can do a Q&A at the end of these
yes,
sessions. So my email address is david@beastmodesoccer.com. It's obviously very difficult to remember, david@beastmodesoccer.com. Pepe, what's
yeah.
your email address?
My email address is pepe@sixpackmental.com.
Very, very simple email addresses to remember.
Yes, yes,
But this was amazing. Like, this was really good. Guys, I will download it and put it on YouTube tonight. It takes me ages to do. I'm not going to lie. It takes me about 3 hours to do it all, because I like
yes,
to edit it just nice.
yeah.
So it will take a while. But, you know, this is evergreen content, right?
Yes.
This is content that people can come back to and keep using and keep using and keep using.
Yeah, exactly.
Were there any questions?
Well, it was great. I just read this one. I stayed up until 12 a.m. in England for this, and it helps me so much. That's great. I'm glad to hear that, and
Yeah.
and thank you very much. Really, I mean, those things. That's why we do it. That's why we do it, to make sure that we can help. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay. All right, Pepe, we good? You good?
Yes, I think we're good. As I said, Friday we'll be back.
Friday?
My suggestion, I'm not sure what the guys think, is eventually we can do one over Zoom, because I believe that can allow us to be more interactive. People can ask questions. We can jump in and answer. So that would be my suggestion. So you let me know, guys. Let us know if you think that's a good idea as well.
Yeah.
But this is fantastic. And if you have also any questions in regards to the 10-day mental toughness program, just feel free, send me a note, and be happy to answer as well.
Okay. All right, mate. I will speak to you before Friday.
Yes.
Can we? Juan wants to have some T-shirts to give to the
Yes.
audience.
Yes. Well, let's do that.
Are you paying for them?
I have some here, actually. This is just a new one that we brought out.
Yeah, I see that new
Not sure
one.
what you guys think.
I see that
But,
new one. Yeah.
But we're, yeah.
See, I like this one because it's the Mexico colors.
The Mexico one. You know, that's the one that we gave the Mexican national team before the World Cup in 2008, and several players were wearing it during their concentration, which wasn't the plan, but it was great to see that.
That's awesome.
Yes, yeah. So
And now I've got it.
yes. Let's raffle one. We'll find a way.
Yeah, we'll find one. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming on. Pepe, you're awesome.
Cheers.
I'll speak to you in a bit. Cheers, Pepe. Bye.
Take care, guys.
Okay, guys. So remember, it's all about execution now. So take this information and run with it. It's worthless not doing anything with it. If you've got questions, just drop me an email. David at beastmodesoccer.com or Pepe at sixpackmental.com. Sorry, I'm a bit sad, but he went to heaven. So it's a sad day. I will speak to you guys Friday.